Hold on. Let me cut that down. Cause I ain't got no problem with no copyright. You know what I'm saying? Got no time to be playing nobody music unless it's Bankhead music. But check this out though. Can y'all hear me? It's my first time going live, so I just think want to get on here and introduce myself. Know we got people that ain't from Bankhead gonna be checking in. I met people, all my life, all in Alabama and Chattanooga, Tennessee, Charlotte, North Carolina, everywhere I used to go back when I was up and down the road, Got some boys I left down there in Rivers and Alberts, you know what I'm saying? Some places like that, man. I told them one day I'm gonna speak to them, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let them know I'm going number one. Even though I ain't no Saint fan, y'all know I'm a dirty bird. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm Rockhead. I ain't gonna say born and raised in Bankhead because we'll have to tell the history. When I write the book and do the movie, you got to know all us come from our slavery days, and when we got here, some of the first families to move in Bankhead, Perry home. I really was gonna be a Perry home, baby, but the tornado came, tore down the apartment, so we moved to Bankhead. So that went back me a Bankhead, baby, man. Alfred Blaylock, Papa High, Bankhead Gym, all that. When we used to have summer camp right there at the basketball court, you know what I'm saying? Let's get this straight. Apartment 341. First of all, you know what I'm saying? Let's get that straight. It was some, my mama moved out there was me, my mama, and how many sisters I had, y'all? 5? Wait a minute. Cat, Breaker, Tasha, Keisha. I had 5 sisters. Rest in peace, Keisha. Love you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Keisha came over here and repped that silver in middle school, that brown high. You know what I'm saying? Carver High. She moved around, you know what I'm saying? We got enough money to get out the project. That was way later, though. But people always want to know about Bankhead. And later on, I want to tell the story, but I don't want to tell the story from just the young generation point of view. I want to tell you the story about the beginning of Bankhead Coat. I'm going to tell you what year they built Bankhead. I'm going to tell you what the first tenants to move in Bankhead. I remember when we didn't have no mailboxes. This right here going to always be something that when I see people now move in their apartment, they already have furniture to bring with them. When we stayed, everybody who moved in Bankhead Coat when I was growing up, nobody brought no furniture. They gave you apartments. Hey, you got an apartment. If you left the rent off another house card, you had to scramble, go to your kinfolk's house. Somebody might give you a sofa. Somebody might give you a lamp. When we first got the Bankhead Coat, I slept on a cardboard box. And my mama had to learn the ropes, back when people used to give you the welfare and you go over there by Murphy Street on the other side of the West End. They had this big there's a fence around that area right now. But that's where you got your food from, your powder milk, your cheese, your eggs. They gave you a little starter meal to get you going. And just so happened when I got to Bankhead, Blaylock was there. The nursery was there. But, at first, when none of that there. A lot of people, the OGs, when they got to Bankhead, they went to school up in Mason on Bolton Road. So, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk about Bolton Road and how we so connected to Bolton Road one day. And we kind of right here. When we say Bankhead, a lot of people made Bankhead famous, but they left out Bankhead Court. Bankhead Court was the housing projects that we growed up in, and it was 1,000 of them. And to be honest with you, all my life I met people from the Bluff, from Barn Home, from Bolton Road, people when they wasn't paying us no attention, calling bank. We was hollering Bankhead because that's where we were from. We were from Bankhead Coat. And to set the record straight, when they was building Bankhead Coat wasn't already up So we moved in while they were still building on Bankhead Court. So therefore, they had these dirt piles. They had the desert back then, back with the soft built. But when you come out your house, it wasn't no sidewalks, wasn't nothing. All that was being built while we were staying there. So we came outside, we played in that red dirt, we threw rocks. That's how I got this knot on my head right here. And they've been calling me Rockhead ever since I was a little boy. Crebo hit me with a rock, and the rock stuck in my head, and I ran in the house. Mom, I got hit with a rock. I was bleeding down my eyes and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And my mama, she was a little short lady, and she, got the alcohol, got the rag, got the dirt out the rock out my head, you know what I'm saying? But the rock wouldn't come out. And back then we were poor. She said, we ain't got time, we ain't got no money to go to the hospital and all that. Because when you first get to Atlanta, if you from Macon, Thomasville, Butler, Georgia, all these people, when we got to Bankhead, we had people from Monticello, Griffin, Macon, Manchester, them. People were from everywhere. So we was like some freed slaves just put in this area, and all of us were looking at each other like, what we gonna do now? And so when we first got to Bankhead, this family right here, they dip in my heart, the Dukes. The Duke boys stayed on next door to us because it was Madeline and Duke. She had a lot of children. So when you're in Bankhead, everybody just call themselves by their last name, the Dukes. They didn't call us by the William because it wasn't that many of us, but it was a lot of the Dukes. And on the other side of us, people don't know this story. But Pista, who hang with my daughter Nicole right now, they, daddy, and grandmama and them stayed over there because when they apartment, they stayed next door to us in Perry home. So we came to Bankhead together. So Pee Wee them, you know what I'm saying? And Podog them, Podog them people, you know what I'm saying? Albert them people. They stayed right next door with us, next to the Dukes. And then they'll have to call one day and tell you where they moved to because they left. I think somebody went to Kimberly Court and somebody moved on the other side of Bankhead because Willie, Bob, and Lady, Grace, Marty, Deepy, them, Miss Louise, them moved next door. And on this side, like I said, you had Malu Duke, then you had Sue Duke, rest in peace, Becky Duke, Renee Duke, Bernard, Reb, Marcus, and Jesse Duke. We're gonna tell you a funny story about Jesse Duke one day, though, because Jesse Duke went over there and robbed the motor bus off Campbellton Road. Hold on, y'all. Jesse Duke was a innocent little fella, though. He hung with his daddy more than everybody else. Growing up in Bankhead, if your parents had a job, everybody got paid on Thursday. They didn't start just getting paid on Friday stuff till later on in life. Most of the jobs you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you got paid and you got drunk. You were too drunk to go to work Friday. That's how they end up saying, well, we better just start paying people on Friday. So they'll come to work and we'll let them out early Friday. But as time go on, when you go to work now on Friday, they make you work a whole 8 hours. So that just was a sign of the time. A lot of things I'm gonna talk about, you're gonna notice. Didn't nobody teach us. We had to learn stuff and see stuff along the way. I think the best thing ever happened to me was when we moved in apartment 341 in Willie and them right there. They had an outdoor basketball goal right there made out of concrete. Next to that was the so-called recreation center before they built the gym. We'll have parents. They opened up the recreation center. This gave us a 4-bedroom. That was 2 apartments. So it was like 1, 2, 3. That probably about 8 rooms. They turned it into the recreation center. That's when we learned how to shoot carrying pool, do what do you call it? Girls learn how to do the jack stones and jump rope. And we did everything inside that little circle right there, what we call the recreation center. It was right across the street from the rent office. And the OGs, my OGs, I love my OGs. My OGs used to shoot basketball right there. And back then we were just young kids. We loved to play in that red dirt. And across from that, like we in summertime come, we had what we call summer camp. Everybody signed up and we went to summer camp. Well, Bankhead was kind of big, so when they built the backside, that's Harvard England them side, Joe Rush them side, they had their own recreation center. We had our own recreation center. And Scott them and Alfred them stayed across the highway. I don't know. I have to go back and see where they had a recreation center at. Because when Bankhead got put up, we used to go to elementary school. You used to have to learn how to fight because the dude see they built across the highway first. So dudes was already in Alfred Blaylock. So when they started putting us over here, we'll go over there to fight. It might be 4 or 5 of us. It might be that whole side of Bankhead. So Bankhead fought each other back then. As new people moved in, we started bonding because when we come outside, you know, they like hula hoops, skates, marbles, frisbees, those little welfare footballs and basketballs were some of the greatest toys it was. So when you come outside, you just had to find somebody to play with. And that's who you bonded with. So on my road, like I said, Willie and them, us, the Duke boys, next door were TT and Poo Poo, them was girls, but they had some big tall brothers in their family, you know what I'm saying? Right next door was Harold Smith, Rod Smith, Ellie Smith. Those our first neighbors, the first people I ever seen. They had the pool table in the living room. They had a daddy. Yeah, they had a dad. A lot of people stayed out in the project, didn't have no daddy. They had a working dad. So he was going out working and he was bringing back money. Everybody else was sitting around waiting on welfare. On the end of them was Hollywood, Fuzz, and Delta, the twin, Lettuce, them, Fred, what his other brother name was, but the Hendersons. That was our row. And like I said, our row came down, then you had the basketball court with the recreation center. Next door to that was my best friends, Melvin Dave. We became best friends because the way the apartment circled around, when you come out their back door, you were looking at our back door. And I don't know who stayed next to Melvin when I was little. Somebody else gonna have to call in and tell me, but I know it was a whole lot of people stayed in that apartment before Constance moved right down there when we had got grown. But me and Melvin and we just come out in the backyard, shoot marbles. Another thing was popular in Bankhead back then with the slingshot. Okay, right in front of the recreation center, if you look straight, you'll see a hill. And there was a hill and some woods. And it was a pathway in the woods. And as kids, we used to love to go play in the woods. So when we get our Christmas stuff or a neighbor let you borrow some, we'll get a slingshot, get some rocks. We'll shoot each other. We'll try to shoot cans. We'll line cans up and shoot cans. Find bottles, and we'll shoot bottles. And then we'll go up in the woods and we'll shoot birds up in the tree with our slingshots. So slingshot was a popular toy. Plus the older guys, they would take those slingshots they give you with the cheap rubber band and they'll go find a heavy duty band and it'll be longer and you can shoot it all the way up in the air and knock a bird out up there sometime. And you know, as some kids, sometimes we mess around and take the slingshot and shoot and hit somebody one and end up getting a whooping, get in trouble. Another thing about Bankhead Coach, we always got whoopings. Hey, I did something wrong one day. My mama wasn't at home. Matt Lou whooped me. And that was the Duke boy, their mama. When my mama got home, she told her I whooped Rock. She didn't call me Rockhead. She said, I whooped your little boy. You know, see, the grown folk wouldn't call me Rockhead, then just the other kids. And it was some rough time growing up out there. You know, it wasn't all peaches and creams, you know. We had rats on the inside of the apartments because of that red dirt. we never did. Rats start living in that dirt unless they built this. I got to find out what they built Bankhead on, because when they built Bankhead, it was rats. Like I say, it wasn't number dirt, so they finally brought some concrete out there and made us a driveway where we could park cars. And then they made a street where the mother bus could come down. Back then, first time I ever seen the bus, it was called the 8 Center Hill. I used to come to Bankhead and people get on the bus fare was like a nickel or a dime. People get a dime and they go out and job hunt, go to the welfare office, stuff like that. That was the first time I ever seen a bus. And they built it, and the bus would go down and he'll turn around in a circle and he'll sit there and wait. And we thought that was so cool. We were like, damn, that's a bus come out here. Like I said, just about all the families out there was coming from the country. So we had never seen stuff like a bus. Better yet, we had never seen toilets, sinks, and tubs. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we first got to Bankhead, we didn't know what soap was, because from the country, we always bathed with it was a soap, but it was this big old block, and it was hard. You know what I'm saying? And you to take your rag and you put a little water on it and you rub it on. Now, I'm so country. Before, what I'm saying, I got raised in Bankhead Coat. Now, I was bathing in the wash tubs. So when I got to Bankhead, I knew a little something about milk and eggs and pigs and meat skins and stuff like that. But when I got out there, and we had to learn, like, when you get there, your mom have to show you how to run the water, cut the water off. You know what I'm saying? You cut that water on, you stick your hand up on us. Hey man, that's some hot water. I'm from the country. I ain't never seen no hot water. So I'm saying, so we get that big old block of soap and sit on, and everybody could use it. You know what I'm saying? Then when you run out of soap, a lot of people might not admit to this. If you had some washing powder, I'm bathed in the washing powder. You know what I'm saying? You were young, you didn't itch. You know what I'm saying? Again, we coming from the era where they had diapers. My little sister, them, they was young. Keisha and Tasha, them, you know what I'm saying? They wore diapers and with the stick the pen in them. So, we had a clothesline in the backyard. So whenever your baby shit and mess up the diaper, we always had like us being from the country, we had a wash tub. We put up some bleach and some water and some soap in there, and we put them diapers in there. And me and my mom and my older sister used to go in there and wash the diapers and shit like we would. Used to wash clothes in Alabama, get over in that wash tube and go to side and rinse them out. And go to side and rinse them out. You know what I'm saying? Boom. We ain't have no washing machine and all that. But like I said, when you moved into project, it was your first time ever seeing a stove. Like, they gave you a stove and a refrigerator and a sink and some cabinets. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got out of slavery, you just went to heaven. Like, damn, they gave us Bankhead. Like, we got a refrigerator and a stove. Then back in the back, we had a pantry. You know what I'm saying? You could put your rice and your beans up. You know what I'm saying? My mama, little short lady, real light skin. Everybody thought she was white. But she brought us up there and raised me and them 5 sisters by herself. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we'll get into that. How I probably picked up some bad ways of a daddy or father, because every time I went back to Alabama, the way my daddy used to be kicking shit, he was a truck driver and screwing all the women. I thought my daddy was kicking big shit. You know what I'm saying? But I was a child and I was like, and my dad, I look like him, I walk like him. And every time somebody see me in the country, that boy look just like his dad. You know how they talk in the country. Well, that boy look just like your dad. You know what I'm saying? When the more people told me that, I thought, like, damn, I got to be cool with my daddy. But my daddy was I'm grown now. I think that word now they use as a homemonger. He had he had his own little company, Puckwood. So he was having some money. Back then when drinks was a dime in Alabama, or get your ice cream for a dime, you know what I'm saying? And my granddad was a McCoy, and he had his own thing. The McCoys had land. The Williams didn't have land, but we stayed on land. We'll get into that some other time. How you carry your last name. Williams is a name I'm proud of, but the Frasers who slaved us, I'm not proud of. So that means like when I went down to my granddad's house on my dad's side, we had our own candy, watermelons, cabbage, lettuce, horses, cows, pigs. My granddad had all that plum tree, apple tree, pear tree, fig trees. That was the McCoy. You know what I mean? Go back up to my mama's side. My mama had a lot of girls, and some things happened to my uncles that people still don't talk about right today in Alabama. Like I said, that Bankhead story gonna be a long story because we're gonna have to touch on all that. Like when you talk about a place, you want to talk about how you got there. Like you don't want to just start saying, "Oh, I was slanging drugs and the Red Dog." No, that's not the Bankhead. That's not the whole Bankhead story. Because in Bankhead, yeah, after you learn how to shoot marbles, shoot horseshoes, you know what I'm saying? When I first seen people playing horseshoes, I was amazed. Hey man, that lady around there, every time you see her, she got them horseshoes out. And dudes could throw a frisbee and he could throw it so far. We ain't play with no frisbee in Alabama. We stayed in the country. We ain't had no neighbors, no friends to fly a frisbee with. But dude could come out of his house in the morning and he throw that frisbee so far down the Bankhead coat. And ain't nobody even looking. You don't even know nobody there. And then somebody will run out and pick it up and then sling it back. And next thing you know, we started doing what they call frisbee football. We'll pick, you get on my team, you get on my team, and we'll hike the frisbee, you know what I'm saying? We'll take off and we'll throw the frisbee, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like football rules, but we were just using the frisbee. A lot of people don't know about the frisbee football, but the OGs used to always stand out in the street and play football. When they built that parking lot, you'll have a football game right here on this side of Bankhead. You'll have a football game in the back. You'll have a football game right on Harvard side. And you'll have a football game across the highway on Shorty Brock and Alfred side. You know what I'm saying? I could be naming people so y'all to get an understanding of who was what. You know what I'm saying? It took us a while to become friends because some of the guys that I go to war with now, Popeye, Big Hog, there's a lot of dudes cross that highway, but we fought a lot of them. So all those fights have to be forgiven right about now because when you live, you be like, oh, when I get older, that get back of ML. Ain't have the song say now. I used to always be saying, okay, they doing that because we outnumbered, you know what I mean? But you learn from your lessons, you know what I mean? So they played football, and some of them can throw some football so good, some of them can catch so good. And then we had this dude came out there. I know I'm all over the place, but it's just an introduction to what we're gonna talk about anyway. His name was Spill, Coach Spill. Somebody hit me on my page the other day and said they some key in the Spill. They gonna look around for some information, stuff like that. We didn't have Bankhead Gym then, so in the back of Bankhead Court, they built a softball field and they had a basketball goal in the woods. Like I say, everybody just didn't hang together in Bankhead at that time. I think we more started hanging together more when we started playing football together. We started going having parties out there see, sometime when we had parties, somebody from Bankhead in the back of Bankhead wasn't gonna come around in the front to nobody party. And we definitely wasn't gonna go to a party cross the highway when we was little boys. Because those cross the highway dudes always want to fight. You had old Noon Chuck over there, and Barry Brock them, and Abraham Faber and Buck them, Funny Head them. I would just name some folks over there, Gabe Roundness and them. Them older guys. They, apartment man, but 5 or 6 bedroom apartments with a lot of brothers over there. You know what I'm saying? You got to be ready to fight when you go to school in the morning. In the summertime, we didn't have to go cross the highway for nothing. We just played football on our side. And see, we bonded. Me, Harold, Hollywood, Rico Robinson, JoJo, Eric, and Tanya, them, Gate Mike, them, man. We're gonna talk about Bankhead, man. We're gonna talk about Deborah Jackson, them, man. Man, come on, we want to talk about Deborah Jenkins, them, man. We're gonna talk about everybody staying on our side, Carlo and Edie. You know what I'm saying? Cleve Ridley, them, you know what I'm saying? Who else stayed around in that parking lot? Man, Bowman, man. All that Bowman and Rick, them Nard, them, man, right there in that parking lot, man. We're gonna talk about everybody staying on our road. Bubba and Pete, them, man. You know what I'm saying? Clown Face, man. We're gonna talk about everybody who stayed on our road on up and down that thing. Clint Baker, them, you know what I'm saying? Who else stayed on there? Tammy and Fatso, them, man. Crebo and Borat, them, man. That's our side, you know what I'm saying? Tracy Howard, David Howard, Skipper Howard, Junebug, y'all stay at me. That's ours. Eddie Todd, man. Doug with the one wheeler. We're gonna talk about Bankhead, man. We ain't gonna leave nobody out. Crenshaw, man. PB, Lissa, Bobby Toe. So we ain't gonna leave nobody out. That's our side. Now this our part. We get out there and play football and kick it and bond it together. You know what I'm saying? And shoot them marbles. You know what I'm saying? Shoot them marbles. Boy, I try to win everybody marbles and take them in the house. Dude used to get so mad when you win all the mobs and take them in the house. Next time you see them, we be like, "Hey man, give me something to get in the game with." Hey man, I never forget when you win all the mobs. And he said, "Give me something to get in the game with." You know what I'm saying? You get your little sack with your mobs in it, and you got your cat eyes and your crystals, and you got your hunches and all that old shit. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pick out 2, 3, 4 marbles that you really don't like how they look. And you give them about 3, 4 of them marbles. So when y'all go down there and start a marble game, he got something to get in too. You know what I'm saying? So the marble game was a trip, man. Bankhead coat, like, a lot of stuff came into fruition. First time a rolling truck came out there, like I said, everybody was on welfare. So it'd be some days there wasn't no food in the house. We just stayed out and played a lot to keep it off our mind. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and play. Your mom used to say, go out there and play. You go in there and keep looking in the refrigerator and over and over. Ain't nothing in there. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you what was in that house. That big old box of carnation milk. You ain't got no milk or no sugar. You gotta learn how to just put it with some water and stir it up. Get you some of that carnation milk in you and keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Cause wasn't no eggs, wasn't no bread. So that's what I was gonna say. The first time rolling truck came out there, the dude had a little bit of short white truck. They called him Pop. Thank God when he parked the truck, he parked in front of our building. Pop was the first rolling store man. So sold the penny cookies, penny candies, wash powder, soap, all that stuff your mama need. Pop know you got welfare, so what he did, he brought out a little piece of paper and he loaned it to you till you got your check. That way, when every time back then the check used to come in the mailbox. We had a mailbox on our front porch. We had a little black metal mailbox. You can literally hear that. If you be in the house, sleep or fumbling around, you hear something, click, click. That mailman done dropped that check in now because that was the only mail black folk were getting. We had a mailbox, we didn't get but one piece of mail, and that was a welfare check. Hey, when we get that welfare check, and back then, everybody need a ride then, because when you first get the welfare check, you got to take it back to the welfare officer over by the West End and cash in your welfare. You know what I'm saying? So by the time your mama and them get a ride and come back, they paying the little neighborhood dude who we call ride me, and they get them some food stamps or get them some money. They stop by the grocery store. We didn't have no grocery store, but these other government project up the hill called Barn Home had a grocery store, and on the other side of Barn Home there was a KFC and the churches. So just about every family, when they get their welfare check, everybody went to churches and KFC. You right today, churches were popular because they were cheaper and they still cheaper. Mama go up there and get a 10 piece, you know what I'm saying, about $2.99, something like that. Mashed potatoes and drink, man. We ate good. Churches was like all you could eat back then, you know what I'm saying? Mama come down and put that churches on your plate, you know what I'm saying? You go out there and play sports and run around the neighborhood, you'd be so happy, got that church of chicken in you, you know what I'm saying? And everybody in the house. And Pop Soul, it was the first time I ever seen this right here. Back when you used to get some food stamp, they used to give you a welfare check. It was two of them. So that means you had real money and you had welfare. But the ladies who were growing up, like I said, single parents, they started smoking cigarettes because Pop was selling cigarettes. So I was like, what the hell is cigarette? My mama, I'll never forget my mom's. Go out there and get me some Winston. There's some Winston, you know what I'm saying? I go to the truck, so my mom says she wants some Winston. Man, give me a red and white pack of cigarettes, you know what I'm saying? Go back and again to my mom. You young girl in her 20s, smoke cigarettes and stuff. My Aunt Pat come over sometimes. Go out there and get me some Winstons, some shit like that. And sometimes she come over there and, one of them smoke Winston, one of them smoke whatever I just said. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I learned about the cigarette game. And back then, they'll get a pack of cigarettes and a Coca-Cola. I don't know what Coca-Cola done did now. It was the most popular drink in the world. When you take a Coca-Cola and you pop it, and you take that first hit, it knocked the air out. Woo! Your mama done finally come through. So what you looking at, boy? They can give you a hit of it. As a baby, I almost knocked you out. It was so cold and felt so good. They had something in that Coca-Cola. And people just used to, there was some folk that used to get them when they drank it, when they first opened it, they get it restored to the children because you just wanted that first little rush off the Coca-Cola, whatever was in it. So that was when I first learned about cigarettes, Coca-Colas, Sprites. And then throughout time, the Koreans, you had a lot of people start, like I was saying, like if you stayed in Sparta, Georgia, or Hancock, or Griffin, when you moved to the project, your dad, it was in the army somewhere. They was over there fighting in Vietnam and places like that. So they gave these ladies these apartments. So when these dudes got out the military, they found out the people wasn't back in the country no more. Everybody had an apartment in Atlanta. They got to ride up to Atlanta. And the rent office say you don't folk to stay there, but they made an exception for men who had been in the military. They had to have somewhere to stay because their children were there and their wives were there, and they was gonna go back to the military and fight World War II or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like they were there all the time anyway. Like I said, I just didn't have a dad. Oh, they said my dad cut his leg or something because he didn't want to go in the military. He was, because they had their own land, so they just wasn't finna fight. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, I ain't finna fight for no white folk. That's a white man war, all that old blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? But that's how the men start coming to Bankhead. And so when the men came, the men used to go to work, and somebody had got to tell me before they came with the check cashing thing was people going to the bank to cash their check before the liquor store game came with the check and the cash, cashing the check, and the little Korean stove. So all that came later. That couldn't have been there first because the Koreans found out they put some projects down there and came and built two stoves, one on the top and one on the bottom of Bankhead. So from now on, when people got a welfare check, you should go down to the Koreans and they were beating the men out on the stove truck. The Korean was loaning you some chips and some food and some eggs and some cabbage and collard greens. So people was in the apartment starting to cook up some real meals now because the rolling stove didn't have collard greens and cabbage and fat back and all that. Korean shop stopped at grocery store up there by going home, and they loan you that cabbage and collard green and fatback and neck bone, pork chops. You know what I'm saying? We ate pork chops. You know, we ate some real. We get them pork chop fried crispy back then. You know what I'm saying? On that old big black ass skillet. You know, people had back then. All the women know how to make cornbread. All the women can cook. You know, and like I said, sometimes we were so poor, we might have a kitchen table with two chairs, with it 5 or 6 of us. We go and eat out on the front porch. You know, next door to our next door neighbor had a little slope in their apartment. We'll sit on that little thing and eat it. We'll sit on the porch and eat. Like, you know what I'm saying? If the neighbor walk by, somebody who ain't got no food, we, you know, feed you off our plate. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know, we all out here in the project, ain't no food, but you know, that's how it was back then. But I was getting on the when the people catch their check, when the men get out work on Thursday, they to take them somewhere to catch the check. Cause sometimes when they already get off, they to let them off at work early on Thursday and they go somewhere and catch the check. But see, that was before my time. I couldn't tell you where people used to catch the check at. I had to ask that boy Ricky Hollis or somebody like that to ask his dad where they used to catch the checks at, the welfare check and the real check before the Koreans moved down there and started cashing people check for them inside the little Korean store. Everybody in the neighborhood, y'all probably got a Korean y'all call mama. You know what I'm saying? The men barely talk, but the women always be the ones saying, you break, you buy, or get out my store, or what you want, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a small synopsis of what we're gonna be doing on this Bankhead TV. So if you ain't subscribed, go to YouTube, go to the @ sign, Bankhead TV, no slashes, and subscribe. And you know, pretty soon you'll be able to call in and we'll be able to talk some Bankhead stuff. Uh, I just was giving you a brief synopsis of what we're gonna be doing. I know y'all want to hear about T.I. and Lil Nas X and Fabo and Young Dro and Schizo and Screed and BV and Michael Briscoe. Then we're gonna get to all that, but don't rush me. Let's take our time and do it right. Once again, it's the Bankhead OG Tales from Bankhead. I'm so Atlanta. We out.